Ciao a tutti, it's Aram, and it's no secret that Soul Charge is one of the most important cards and one of the most polarizing cards in a hard format. It's also one of the most famous and infamous, like, new people mostly remember it for Soul Charge and uh, lots of backrow decks. But, the thing that the two things coexist shows that Soul Charge is a somewhat balanced card in the format, even if it is the best card in the format. But, new people don't necessarily know how many copies they should play in their deck, and this video is here for that. So we got a little chart. We've got decks that play 0 Soul Charge at 1 and decks that play 3. If it's at the top, it means there is no real variation from the standard ratio, and the further down it is, the more of a player choice it is. Player preference, actually, better. It's better. But yeah, keep in mind that a lot of decks are gonna be clumped together. So just because I put one slightly below the other doesn't really mean I have to put like a bit of a gap for that to count. Really, limited space and all. And I won't be covering any casual and low rogue decks in this video. So yeah, I'm gonna start off with Artifact Trap Tricks. Generally speaking, Artifact Trap Tricks is well, Cat and Hat both run 2 copies, pretty staple. I am gonna put them in a bit more closer to staple because one Soul Charge is an option. It's a card that is pretty easy to side out, and because of the huge variation in variants, I'm gonna put it a lot more in the middle in terms of how staple it is to run 2 Soul Charges. So it's in a pretty medium slot. I'm gonna still put it a bit more towards 3 because it is generally better to run 2 copies. Then we have Raccoons, which I'm gonna count just because they just stopped. Raccoons. Okay, if there is one takeaway from this video, you need a really good reason to play 1 copy of Soul Charge in any deck in the format. In most decks, pretty much. In general. And, some decks, they do have the characteristics to only want to run 1 Soul Charge. And Raccoons is one of them. I'm gonna put it in the middle because they are pretty underexplored, but, Air Falco ran just 1, and, I think that makes a lot of sense. So, I forgot to show the ratios. Yeah, for Artifact Trap Tricks, but for Raccoon, Falco plays 1, and it makes a lot of sense to me because, frankly, it's not a deck that can activate it early unless you use Obedience School, in which case, yeah, it's really good if you open Obedience School. But if you don't, it's not live early game. Late game, it's not that strong. It's strong, but you're reviving a bunch of level 2s and small monsters. It's a good card, but it's not strong enough that you will warrant running 2 in a deck where it's not live early game. So yeah, that is a good example of a deck that would run 1 copy of Soul Charge. I'm not gonna. Sure, Battling Boxers play 2. Yeah. Bujins. Very easy example of a 0 Soul Charge deck. Because for once, they do have their own Soul Charge. And also, doesn't really need it at all. I'm gonna put it not quite at the top corner because there's people that have played the Soul Charge Bujins for the memes, which I cannot say for one other deck, so I'm gonna put it in 0. Next up we have Chainburn. Yeah. Yeah, I don't need to comment on why Chainburn doesn't run soul charge ever. Next we have Constellars. I'm gonna put it in more in player preference. Uh, you know, for me it's a 2-off. There's points for playing 1, there's points for playing 3, there's points for playing 0. Extra Power has made points for playing 0, but I don't agree at all. But still, I'm gonna put it more towards the 3 because, I am thinking about trying 3 copies of Soul Charge. But yeah, it is for the most part a 2 Soul Charge deck because the deck is, how do I say it? Doesn't go on for too long, the games, and it's not live super early game, at least not if you're going first. Usually, it can be, but usually not. But it is really powerful still. Even if you do want your battle phase, it is nice to have. Next up, what do we have? Cyber Dragons. Cyber Dragons, another great example of one soul charge deck. It's not live early game, and it's not that strong late game because you're kind of trying to OTK, and you have already other swarming cards. You've often taken a bunch of damage with the deck too because opening on core is not the greatest. But in terms of surviving, but still, it is still worth running because it is soul charge. I'm gonna put it a bit above because you could argue more for 2, but meh. You already have a bunch of better tools in late game usually. All right, next I'm gonna skip Dark World, frankly, because not enough experimentation. Evil Swarms. Frankly, I forgot. I think it's like a 2 soul charge deck. Let me check. uh, no. Yeah. Yeah, it's 2-1 soul charge deck. Player preference. Yeah. Thank you, Format Library. Next we have Evils. Evols, not evils. English is not my first language. Yeah, 2 soul charges seems about right. It's another not too experimented deck, really. Fire Fists. Kinda depends on the build. I'm gonna put it like square center on player preference. Because, Fire Tricks, 3.5 axis, both decks you can kind of play 1 or 2. Doesn't matter that much. I've played with 0 before. Someone here is playing 3 copies. So, it's pretty damn versatile in how many copies you want to run. Yeah, so I'm gonna put it here. Or maybe more like closer here. Closer to 1. Next up, Frogs. Frogs is A0, definitely above Bujins. Actually, let's leave some space here for you know who. Frogs is like the one card, like the one Soul Charge decks. It's not live early game. It's not a strong late game. But the reason why it's not run at all is late game you want to OTK. So that's what you're building up for a swarm in late game to OTK with Death Frog and rank 5s, and Soul Charge does not let you do that, and your monsters are not light, so you cannot make fiddies. So yeah. Next up, gadgets. Gadgets. I'm gonna put them. I feel like it's not at the far end of 3 copies, because you could run 2, because it is that late game, but the card is so fucking strong in the late game for yeah, it is that early game, but it is so fucking stronger late game for gadgets that I definitely feel like 3 copies is the way to go for pretty much any gadget list. So yeah, Geargias. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna put Kyuga Karakuri with just Karakuri, just because no real need to rate pure Karakuri. But Gyuruga Karakuri is a very stable 2-off. There's really no reason to play any less or any more, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't know what these people are thinking. Okay, I get it, because Gyurgia's Soul Charge is super strong when it resolves, and in late game. The thing is, it's not that strong in early game, and the deck thins so much that you generally can just stop deck into it and be fine. No, it's not worth playing 3, because you risk breaking on multiples, and it's not great. But I guess I'm gonna. Can I move? Thank you. I guess I'm gonna put it more near the center, because I guess some people are playing 3. I don't remember seeing any topping list with 3 copies, but whatever. I'm working on a little project with some data. Maybe I'll see with that data someone topping with that. I'm not gonna bother to check every single fucking topping Gear list, because there's a dime a dozen. Next we have Ghostrix. With Ghostrix Spirit, which I'm not gonna count for them, it's a 0 off. With Ghostrick Madoche, it's a 0 off. With Ghostrick Artifact, which is the closer deck to be a Ghostrick deck, it's a 1 off. But because there's a lot of variants, I'm gonna put it in player preference, and I think Molson's creator list, Dark Creator, maybe plays 2. I don't remember, and I don't have it pulled up, and I don't think I can easily find it on Format Library, because I don't think it topped ever, and it's not featured here, so I'm not gonna waste video time looking for it via queries. Yeah. Next up, let's see. Heraldic Beasts, sure. 2 or 3 of. It's a strong card. You already have your own Soul Charge, but the deck is having Soul Charge as a crutch is really really nice. So like, depending on the build, you can run. Actually, because there's even the Skill Drain build that only really needs 1 or even 0. I'm gonna put it lower in the rankings, because closer to 0 than before, because there's a lot of builds, and some play 0. So yeah. Heretics 3. There's really nothing to say here. You play 3, and that is that. And these people are okay. Yeah. No, like, seriously, what? Why? Like, the deck already has a very limited amount of combo pieces that it can use to actually start. Why would you cut 1? That's stupid. That's stupid, stupid, stupid. Anyways. Yeah, I put it like this. Okay, actually, I'm gonna make space for some other decks coming later. like Infernities, you play 3. And that is the end of the question. That is the end of you play 3. Shut up. Insectors, seems like a 3 soul charge deck to me. Yeah, because you are playing Mathematician, maybe Card Trooper. Um, there's really no real great reason to play less than 3. Yeah, I know you do want to OTK, but you gotta set up your combo pieces first, and the deck struggles to do so already. So yeah, Karakuri. I'm gonna put it. Gonna put it in 3, but complete player preference, because if you go look at the statistics, majority plays 3 soul charge and a bunch of 2 and a bunch of zeros. Fun fact, I actually popularized the 3 soul charges. I was the first person on Format Library's record to play 3 soul charges in Karakuri Giga. It was not my idea, someone suggested it to me and I was like, wait, they don't. But could they? Sorry, Vsauce here. No, but yeah. It kind of depends on how you want to build it. But 3 soul charge, pretty fucking good. Actually, did I popularize it? Let me check, because I took heavy inspiration from the HC22 list in some aspects and not in others at all. So let me check. Did he play? He played 0 soul charge, right? Yeah. Anyways, yeah, like again, you can play 0 because you want to OTK. You can play 2 because it's curious. I feel like playing 3 is better because you can take advantage of the combo aspect. But I'm not. You can definitely play 2 or 0. It's fine. It's fine. Don't play 1. Generally speaking, if your deck is not here, you don't want to play 1 copy. Generally. Maybe if it's up till here, you can consider it. All right. Next up, we have Koakimeru. Koakimeru. I think it's a 2 card. I think it's a 2 soul charge deck. I think. Not entirely sure. Because it's kinda like frogs that you want to OTK, but at the same time you don't have to OTK. So yeah, yeah. This placement seems about right. It's a weak 2. Next up we have Light Sworns. Play 3. Like seriously, just play 3. Chaos Sworn. It's a ruler. I don't care. Just go at it. Have fun. I don't care. Just where the fuck is Twilight? It's at the bottom, I think. Right. Some people started playing it actually recently. Yeah, just play 3. No real reason not to. I guess I'll put it here. Okay. Thank you. Madolche. I'm gonna put it in bottom of 0 because some people actually play it, and it's not like completely dead like the other zero soul charge decks, because like there are situations in which it can be live, and I've seen it top, but at the same time the fact that the Maluchi shuffles themselves makes it quite mid. So I don't think there's much of a reason to run 0, but there's also the Light Sword Maluchi build. That build runs soul charge, I guess. Except Mermas. Mermas is a good example of No, actually, I'm gonna put it here because, like, you really either run 3 or 2, but fact that people are pretty split on how many copies of Mermels of Soul Charge they want to run on Mermels. There's the fact that if you run Soul Charge, Solemn gets quite a bit weaker because of all the life point cost that you're paying, and I'm gonna put it like closer to here, to 3, but still, people have played 2 quite a lot in the past and even now. But majority of people, and I think 3 is correct. Next, we have Mythics. Play 3. Actually, it's gonna put it a bit lower on the play 3 because if you want to play an extreme deep draw version, you can run 2, and that kind of makes sense. Well, actually, judging by the statistics, no. Statistics don't lie, unless they do. Which case, filthy statistics. I don't know. Let's see. Spellbooks. Yeah, spellbooks are definitely going at the top of 0. There is absolutely 0 reason to use Soul Charge in spellbooks. Spirits, another very much 0 Soul Charge deck. There is no reason to run Soul Charge in spirits when the spirits cannot be summoned. The hands, they can, but not that great. If you run Ghost Tricks instead, no reason. Just, they don't synergize. So yeah. Sylvans, round 3, end of story. Anything else? Worms. Last deck, Worms. I feel like it's closer to 1 than to 2. Yeah. It's like, how do I put it? The deck already struggles a bit early game because you're trying to get your combo. Once you get your combo, it's easy to draw into Soul Charge. Before, it's not that strong. But at the same time, you're playing a lot of just random level 4s, Mermelio too, usually. So, you have some powerful targets to summon. So, I'm gonna put it a bit more on player preference, but yeah. So yeah, that's it for me. That's my Soul Charge tier list, I guess. Leave a like, join the Discord, subscribe, leave a comment, all the good shit, and goodbye.